I'm sharing.
Yes. So we in there.
Okay, good.
So I'm gonna share it too. So I can have it on there.
I'm sharing.
And we're like a few seconds delayed from our conversation, but as time progressed, they catch up with us and everything.
Okay, okay.
So first, thank you for coming on Life Her Podcast. I'm Yvette Lloyd. I started this podcast actually in January. Yeah,
Wow, you're a newbie.
yes, I started it, and it's been going. It's great. It's such a blessing. Yes.
That's
So
good.
first, Shanika, tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm Schenika. I live in the DMV area. Um, I've been through hell and back, but I'm here. I started my company in 2018, so actually, I'm a newbie too. It's only not even 2 years. It won't be 2 years until August.
Okay.
So, yeah,
All right.
I'm here.
So what company do you have?
I have Natalia Me-gan Hair and Beauty, where we specialize in lashes. I hand make my glosses. I have my matte collection. This is Forbidden that I'm wearing now. And we have a lot of other products that are launching within the next few months. So, I mean, we do have our hairline, we have our wig collection, our edge control collection, but we are expanding.
Nice. So what inspired you to start this company?
Well, it was twofold. I had a family member who was suffering with cancer and was losing their hair, and a lot of the wigs in the stores were, even though they said human, weren't 100% human. It was human synthetic mix. So that's what got me wanting to do the hair side of things. But on the beauty side of things, because I know how I felt when I was in my domestic violence relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup was like my saving grace in order to leave out of the house, to cover up all the bruises, to make me feel pretty, and to give me back confidence that I didn't have, I lost. So that's what inspired me on the beauty side of things.
Wow. That is inspirational. Yeah. You know, a lot of people don't realize we have a meaning behind everything that we do because it's a
Right.
passion. It's what we love to do. Even in between, we have our struggles too. And one of yours was domestic violence. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I met this guy. We dated for 6 years. 6 years. You know, they say love is blind. It really is, because when I think back, I saw the signs, but I didn't equate it to controlling. I didn't equate it to overbearing. I equated it to, oh, he loves me. That's just love. He's protecting me. And who knew who knew what I would go through within those years? It may not have even been 6, because I think I checked out at 4, and then it took me a year to really get out. Um, and it was bad. Like, I would be asleep and would just wake up to punches or kicks or whatever the case may be, with accusations of, oh, you were cheating on me. I'm asleep. So it was just enduring all of that, and it wasn't just physical. Physical heals, mental does not.
Right.
It was more mental. That's why I said, for me, the beauty side wasn't just covering up my bruises, covering up my marks, my scratches, whatever the case may be. It was more so mental, because when you hear how ugly you are, when you hear how worthless you are, even though I got up and went to work every day, every Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5, I was at work.
Right.
But just to hear that, and that's constant in your mind, in your mind, in your mind, it gets to you, and it does become mental. And
Right.
then it was divide and conquer. Divide me from my friends, divide me from my family, divide me from anyone who loved me, who knew, like, hey, something's wrong, come with me. So
Right.
then it became that divide and conquer.
Ooh, so when did it really start? In the beginning of your relationship, or did it start like after like a year later once he got all the way comfortable?
It was a year and a half. The first instance, I remember it involved my children's father, and we haven't communicated in years. But when he wanted to see the kids, it was like, okay,
Right.
fine. So I don't see a problem with that. But in my then boyfriend's mind was, oh, you're still messing with him. No, I'm not. He wants to see his kids. It has nothing to do with me. And so that was our first physical altercation.
Wow.
It wasn't the last. Of course, it was the apologies. It was, I'm sorry. It was, let me be the best person I can be until next time. Because there was a next time and a next time and a next time and a next time.
Wow. So what was like the feelings that was going through your mind, and from you not experiencing something like that, did you feel like you could change them, or you were scared to leave them, or like
Um,
what feelings did you have?
it was a little of everything. It was like, okay, he said he's sorry. I know, things that he's gone through, well, that he's told me he's gone through. How true that is, I don't know. And then it was like, but I do love him. And I do know that, um, maybe he can get help. I don't know why, but I'm always that person. It's like, let me help you. Let me help you. I don't care who you, to this day, I'm still that person. And I just stayed, but then it became too much. And then when I was truly done, I started plotting. I started because I knew I couldn't just leave. If I just left, I may be dead. I mean, I honestly feel deep down in my heart to this day that I would not be alive in 2020 right now. So I had to be strategic with my exit plan.
So what was that moment when you said it's time for me to go? I gotta get up out of here, or I'm gonna be dead.
Um, I was home. I was in the room, and I don't know. He was drinking, and this was like the straw that broke the camel's back. He pulled the gun on me, and I remember I called my daughter, and my son was. I think he was at the basketball court, and I told my daughter, no matter what, whether I'm here, whether I'm in heaven, that I always love you. And I'm always going to protect you, whether I'm your mother on earth or your angel in heaven. And it was that moment I knew I was going to die. The
Wow.
gun went off, but it went past me into the wall, and he ran out the door. And it was that moment that everything clicked. And it was like, it's me or him. And I chose me.
Yeah, it got me speechless because it could have been you. Obviously, it scared him too. Just the
Yep.
fact that, like, man, I was getting ready to do this. Did
Yep.
you call the police and press charges or anything, or
I
you just
didn't.
let it go?
I didn't. I did not. And that looking back, that's what I probably should have done. But I didn't. I was just like, I'm done. I'm working on my plan. I started saving money. It was so bad where I was like, forget the bills, forget whatever. I need my stockpile so that I can move. But let me tell you, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah.
My apartment caught fire,
Yeah.
lost everything. But the guiding light was that was it. That was my
Yeah.
real exit. So
Yeah.
sometimes,
Okay, it's really time for me to move. After you moved and you moved on with your life and everything,
yeah,
did he try to come back and apologize, or even like threaten you? Did he have these like different ways that he tried techniques?
absolutely. Um, I changed well, at first I didn't change my number because I had my number for so many years, and my family who's, out of town, they all had it. So finally I changed my number. Um, and from there, I blocked all social media access, but you can't block Messenger. You can't block IG messages. So that's still, even my email address, I was receiving emails. So it's like, I did everything to block immediate contact. But yeah, yes, he did still, let's talk, no disrespect kind of thing. Um, then he would send like these songs that was just like, the most disrespectful songs you could kind of think of. Um, and then it'll flip, and then he'll send a love song. And it was just like, okay, look.
Yeah, it made you, even though you saw like how you experienced him being abusive to you. Even I'm still stuck at the fact that he shot the gun at you, and thank God that it missed. and that I'm so happy that you're here right now,
Me
or
too.
or it didn't even hit you, but just even going through that emotions and you seeing on the outside looking in at that moment from you leaving him, it's like, wow, like he really has some issues. And sometimes us as women, we find ourselves feeling like we could heal men, we could change them, or we trying to find like bits and pieces on why they are this way. did you,
Exactly.
did you find yourself doing that even though he
I
was leaving
did.
with them?
I did. I did. And it was just, and I think it's even harder for me because at 16, I lost my mother.
Oh,
So I initially went through everything in life without my mom. And my dad he was always there, but he didn't understand what a daughter needed as far as the emotional side of things. Men aren't emotional.
yeah,
So it's only so much, if I say, hey, daddy, why is XYZ? He'll just be like, well, my dad was vulgar. So just imagine what he would say
you're
and
right,
like walk away. But that's like, daddy, that's not what I need to hear. So
right,
so I did. I was just like, oh, I can fix it. I can fix it. Maybe if we do counseling, maybe if, let me put him in counseling, let me do whatever. But you can't fix what's broken and does not want to be fixed because they have to admit to have an issue. And until they recognize within themselves what the problems are, it's nothing that anyone can do. And I had to learn that.
yeah,
And it took a lot for me to get to where I am today, both mentally, because believe it or not, even though I'm a lot better, I still find myself doing things that I did when I was and it's little things like having doors open or doors closed or locking a bathroom door when you go in the bath, just little things
yeah.
like that. And it's just hard to break.
Oh yeah,
I'm a
definitely.
work in progress. Even still,
Yeah.
all years later, I'm a work in progress.
Yes, but at least you know it and you identifying it, and you just like, okay, you came this far. Just put it like that.
Absolutely.
And
I
it's a
sure did.
blessing on where you're at today. It's a real blessing. Could you tell me a little bit more about your childhood?
Mhm. So, my dad had my sister, and then I found out later he had a brother. I don't know my brother.
Okay.
My but my mom and dad together have my brother and I. So, you know, it, up until my mom's death,
Mm-hmm.
it was fine. After her death, I checked out. I honestly checked out because my mom, in a sense, raised me, even though my dad was there.
Right.
Um, my dad and I had this conversation many years later because I remember him telling my mother, I was 6 years old. And up until six, when my brother was born, I was a daddy's girl. And he told her for her to raise me and he will raise my brother. But he was always there. So it's not like we were in different houses. It's just
Right.
he knew my mom knew what to do with the girl and he knew what to do with a son. So
Yeah.
when I lost my mom, I lost everything in my mind because
Right. Because
I
you
didn't have
didn't
that
say that.
relationship. Right. So I chose sort of the bad boys. I'll say that. That was what I kind of clicked to growing up. Because,
Right.
at young 16, it's like, oh, okay, well, he's, flashing his money, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I clicked to. Um,
Right.
biggest mistake of my life. But I was young, so who knew? After that, the struggle was figuring out what to do with myself.
Wow.
Because when my mom died, I died, if I'm honest. When my mother died, a part of me, half of me died.
Wow.
So
So what was the cause of your mother's death, if you don't mind me asking?
no, she had an aneurysm. And
Uh-huh.
it's so crazy how it happened. That night I was on the phone with her and I kept calling home. I never did that when I went out. And she was like, don't call me anymore. And she said she loved me. So about an hour and a half later, my dad paged me. That's when I'm telling my age. We had beepers.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
And
okay.
he paged me. So when I called him back, he was like, the ambulance just took your mother. Where are you? And I'm coming to pick you up. Like, what are you talking about? But by the time we got to the hospital and was able to see her, they put us in the room and they basically said she had an aneurysm and they had her on life support. Um, so they said they were going to do some kind of test to see if she could survive on her own, and it wouldn't be until like 3 o'clock. So we had
Mhm.
to leave. And in fact, they were like, take the jewelry, blah, blah, blah. We left. And when we went back and they did the test, they said they didn't have brain activity. So
Mhm.
we had to decide whether to keep her on life support or take her off. And I lost. That was just, yeah. To
Yeah,
this
it's
day, it's
a
rough.
whole different feeling. I like I told you, I started a podcast this year. I was supposed to start it with my mother, and she passed in October.
Oh,
So
wow.
I could only imagine. I know now how you actually felt back then, and I was at a young age. So you still had your whole life ahead of you of the things that you wish she was at, but she's still with you, and that's what I had to I tell myself it all the time, like she's still with me, either if it's a song come on
Mm.
or
Ooh, them songs and them holidays and birthdays roll around. And Mother's Day take me out every year.
yeah, like it's
Ooh,
just mothers are they're special.
they are.
I still haven't really even found myself actually like break down crying yet. I
Mhm.
haven't really just cried yet.
Right.
So I
It's
don't
going to
know.
be so unexpected,
I
and it may take
know.
years. It
I
took me
know.
years to break down, but when I broke, I broke. Like I
Yeah.
broke. So it may, for me it was unexpected. I was in my car and I
Oh,
had to pull over on the side of the highway. Like, what is going on?
yeah, because it's like you be wanting to like call them and say
Yep.
something.
Yep.
They always have some form of advice or just have a
Exactly.
long conversation, even if you're not saying nothing.
Exactly. And like I said, later on, I think it was when my daughter was born, in 96, my dad and I really reestablished our relationship, and we were so like thick as thieves. So when he got ill, in 13, well, he got ill in 2012, but in 13, I was like, whatever. I took a month off from work. I went on FMLA. I took care of my dad, and I literally, the day I flew back, 2 days later, he passed. So I
Oh,
had to get back on a plane, the kids and I, and fly back to Dallas and bury him.
wow. So you lost both parents? Man, God bless you. Oh,
It's rough.
yes,
It's rough.
it
Like,
is.
especially today on Father's Day, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes,
Um,
but you see how God worked that though, to a point where you guys were able to rebuild your relationship and communicate with each other and everything. That brought him peace too, you know,
yeah,
and it brought you peace as well. But even though it's like, wow, now this is the time I get to spend more time with him like I want to, and then he's taken away from you. I know that took a lot out of you.
it did. I went through counseling.
That's
I blame myself because, like I said, his last 30 days of life, I was primarily his nurse when his nurses weren't there. And it was like, what did I miss? Did I miss something? Did I not do something? He had the tube in his stomach and everything because he had cancer. He had lung cancer, and then it spread to his brain and throughout his body. So it's like, what did I miss? I didn't miss
You
anything.
didn't miss anything, and I don't even think you should blame yourself because I found myself doing that. It's like you don't get enough time with them, so you find your mind going somewhere else, and you like, I should have did this, I should have did that, but who knows how much time we can't do it all in one day,
I know, I
But
know, and I did the blame game, and
yes,
even still, I found myself sometimes like, well, dang, Schenika, what if? But I can't what if. I have to live in reality, and reality is they're both in heaven now together. That's my reality.
yes, and you making them proud.
I I hope so. I said I know my mama done probably did about 30 flips, but I hope now she's like, okay, now this is the Schenika I know.
I know, for real. So tell me about 2018 when you took your leap out on faith.
I did. So I'm now married.
Okay, congrats.
Yes, got married in 2017, and I always knew I was going to own my own business. always. Knew it was going to be something in beauty, wasn't sure, but knew at the time when I was going through everything else, I couldn't do it. So my husband and I was at brunch one day, and I was like, so babe, this is what I want to do. And I said, well, what are your thoughts? And he was like, do it. Okay. So I already had my name. I had everything. And the company is actually named after my granddaughter. My granddaughter's name is Natalie Me-gan, but her
Okay.
Dominican name is Natalia Me-gan. So I was like, oh,
Okay. That's
perfect.
right there.
So that's when it was born. And I initially started with just hair extensions, clip-ins, tape-ins, and wigs. I added on edge control. And then I expanded to lashes. And then I started making all of the glosses. So I've
Nice.
now added that on. So yeah.
Nice. So tell me about your journey, because girl, I'm so employed too. Being a lot of people think being a business owner is so easy. Like we just skip it and happy and we rich.
Do you know how many times I quit? Like in my head,
Yeah,
not really quit, but in my head, I think I had
yeah.
quit 1,000 times,
Man,
maybe
I already
more.
know. Be like, but I can't do this no more.
I'm
I
like, I
gotta
can't
stop.
do this. Like, what is this self-employed mess? This isn't what I thought it was going to be, because I knew it was going to take work.
Oh yeah.
But I'm like, oh my, this is a whole different monster. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. And one thing I do is I post a lot, but I post me, it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm up packaging orders. Like, this is the real side of self-employment. This is what it really looks like. It's not like, oh, we just have millions in our account.
Yeah.
We can just ride yachts and charter planes. And no, that is not my reality. Let me be clear.
Yes. That's why I told you before we start. We got make it look good.
That is not my reality.
You gotta
So I
represent.
try to tell everyone, is it rewarding? Absolutely. Is it a lot of work? Absolutely. And it's not built for everybody. And a lot of people are like, oh, anybody can do it. No, you can't. You
No.
can't. You have to be very strategic. You have to be very organized. You have to be able to wear 10 to 15 hats. And that's one thing that I do when I mentor young adults who want to start their journey. It's like, okay, this is what you have to do, but you also have to make sure your business is in order. Don't just
Mhm.
start selling something, or don't just start this next big thing and you don't have your business in order.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
a lot.
It's not only like just having your business in order, your finances in order.
Absolutely.
You gotta make sure yourself in order
You
because
gotta
you
speak.
know because it can hinder us like mentally and physically. We can tear our bodies down and everything. So running a business is like, I don't know. I don't have kids yet, but
I'm so glad my kids are grown. I don't think I could do it if they were younger.
got a few kids and having a lot of them. It's like having that business.
It is. It is. It's very challenging because the hours are long. I'm getting to a point where I'm like, I have to take time out for me because I have gotten to that crash and burn. Holiday season is crash and burn.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's a good thing.
yeah.
I'll never complain. Thank you, God, and blessings for me to keep going and keep expanding and business to keep growing. Um, but you have to be a special person. It's
Yes.
not the glitz and glamour that everyone thinks. So I try to post my good and my bad. And my bad being, okay, it's 3 a.m. and I have to be up at 6. It's 4 a.m. I'm getting ready to go to bed just to have to wake up at 6 and do it all over again.
Good. They just handle all of that. So tell me, how did you end up working with Mariah Carey, Candy? Who else? Little
I
Mama.
have my dream team. That's what I call them. So I went to New York for a photo shoot. It was with Rose set a photo shoot up for me, and this was in 2018. I believe it was was it 2019? No, it was the ending of 2018.
Okay.
So I had Daria, who's a celebrity makeup artist, and um, I can't remember who my stylist was, my hairstylist and stylist, but that's how it started. And so, people kind of just go into on these sets like, oh, okay, it's just another person. but we all ended up really hitting it off. They were like, your energy is amazing. So I
Yeah,
was
so
like,
a
oh,
good
thank you.
thing.
So we ended up, now we're the dream team. So when opportunities arise, the first person they recommend is me. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And it just went from there. And so I've been so blessed. I've worked, with Mariah Carey, with Candy, with Little Mama, with it's just endless opportunities. We have a lot I can't speak on it yet, but we do have something in the works in these next couple of months now that we're able to go back on sets and we're able to do photo shoots and all of that again. So it's just been a blessing. And the fact that I'm not even 2 years old.
Yeah,
My baby is a year and a half.
yeah, that's how I be feeling when I be doing this podcast because the type of women I've been meeting and
Mhm.
just having conversation with, it's like we bounce off in each other's energy. Like me and
Yep.
you, we connected.
Exactly.
You know, it just feels good to really talk to some genuine women, uplift them, inspire them, and everything. And that's exactly what you're doing on a daily basis. You're making women beautiful and making them feel beautiful, and just them just feeling all the way good. And it's very, very great and such a blessing that you are in this industry and you a woman that's been through some things so you can relate to your clients or anything and talk to them on a personal level to make them feel better.
Absolutely. And it's funny because, this side of me, I just opened up this year
Okay.
about everything I've gone through. And it wasn't because people like to judge. And
Yeah.
everyone, you see it all the time on Facebook, on IG. Well, why do you stay? Just leave. You can't, it's not easy to just leave. So I was very guarded with that part of my life. And
Yeah.
I had a light bulb moment like, wait a minute, Schenika, you're quiet, but you don't know the women you may touch by telling your story. And I
Mhm.
remember I posted on Facebook and was just like, as a domestic violence survivor, thank you, God, for everything. And I do think even me going through that situation was a blessing in disguise because it made me who I am today. And from that post, I had so many people in my inbox. I was like, oh my goodness. And it
Yeah.
was different ladies or someone who knew someone who was going through it. And it blew my mind. So I said, okay, I can no longer be silent. So I had a conversation with my husband and I was just like, this is my story. He said, Schenika, tell it. So it was just like from there, I'm not going to hide behind what I've gone through because what I've gone through prayerfully is helping other women.
Yeah, and not only that, is helping you too.
Yeah,
Sometimes we can find ourselves uplifting the next woman. That's like us taking away something that was painful to us by
exactly.
taking them and like, okay, I just took off this part, and
Yep.
then it
And
just
layers are coming off.
the layers coming off. You'd be surprised how many layers you really have after having so many conversations. You'd be like, dang, I did go through that.
Uh-huh. You're like, oh, okay. I thought I said I forgave them. Well, wait a minute. Why am I still feeling like this? So that's what I'm actually finding. Like I said, I still find myself doing certain things that I did years ago when I was in that relationship. So it's still embedded in me.
Right.
Um, it's just I don't know who knows how long it's going to take. I think because I've done it so like I said, locking doors and closing all the windows and that kind of thing. So crazy. Um, but it hopefully, like you say, these layers are falling off.
Oh yeah, they're falling off. I mean, with you getting this far, oh, they falling off.
True.
It's just even a point of you just taking that leap in 2018, and
Yeah.
just a few years before that, you were going through something.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
just for you to even turning your pain into power at that moment, and
Yeah.
you still increasing, you still doing everything. You ain't even you about to be reaching your peak in a minute. You were like,
Like,
okay.
oh my God, look at you. But you're right. And I think that's like that is my fuel, that's my fire. Because my passion, I know, like I said, and some people are like, oh, it's just makeup. But no, for me, it wasn't just makeup. I
Right.
couldn't leave my house. If I didn't have makeup, I couldn't leave my house because then it's like, well, what happened? What's all this on your neck? Why you got black eyes? What's going on? Why is it lumps and not? So that's what saved me.
Mm.
And So for me, it's much more. And I put my all. And when I say my all, I have put my all into this company.
That's
So
good. We keep
a
doing
lot
that.
of blood, sweat, tears,
Ooh,
more
oh
tears.
yeah,
Quit.
girl,
I
a
quit. I
lot
quit.
of
I quit.
tears, a lot of tears. All
Woo.
right, cool. So tell me, how did you and your husband meet?
We met through my cousin, and it was just random. I was at my cousin's house. He was at my cousin's house, and so him and my cousin are friends, and so we met there, and it was crazy because we would hang out. And I remember one day he asked me. He said, "Well, what do you think about marriage?" Because I actually was married before, and my divorce was finalized in 2007, I believe.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm never getting married again. And he
Oh,
was like, what? So I remember telling him, I said, I'm never getting married again. My family knew this. Everybody knew this.
so you done gave that man a challenge.
Here we are. We've been married 3 years. It'll be, yeah, we just 3 years. We got married in March of 2017. So 3 years this year.
Man,
He broke that wall down.
you so good.
But you know what? That would have been my loss because that would have definitely been my loss.
Yeah,
He's amazing.
and that's good. It's like even though a lot of us women we've been through a lot of hurt and pain, we have to still train ourselves to know all men aren't the same. And
True.
it is some good men out there that are experiencing bad relationships just like us, and they're
Mhm.
looking for the right woman too. And girl, I had to learn that myself.
I think we all do.
Seriously, it's like
And we might block our blessings being bullheaded because I was like, nope, no, I'm not getting no. And
no,
I remember when I got married, my cousins were like, I can't believe you got married. I said, I did. Because I was adamant. I was like, I'm never marrying again. I just date.
and that was, what's so crazy. I had got to a point I didn't never want to get married, and I got to a point I never wanted kids.
Oh, okay.
All so many toxic things going on, and I'm like,
Right.
no, I'm cool. I don't even want to deal with none of that. But I'm married now, so now I do want some kids.
You're like, okay, now's the time.
I'm just like, oh. So, no, tell me what else do you have going on right now?
So, like I said, we're adding new products. We're working on a men's line, which is a beard care line.
Ooh,
Yeah, so that's kind of my husband's baby because doing events and stuff, men always say, well, what do you have for us?
yes.
You don't have anything for us. And I was like, oh, but wait, stay tuned.
Mhm.
I also have eyeshadow that's coming out, body scrubs that are coming out. Those will be launching within the next couple of months. I was supposed to do BeautyCon this year in New York, but we know, with COVID and everything that's going on, that's not going to happen this year. But it's okay.
Yeah.
That like broke me all the way down because it's
No.
such a major event, and that would have really put my company on the map. So, I cried. I cried so much behind it. But
Yeah.
what can you do? Life is way more important than a
Yes.
convention.
And our safety with everything that's going on right now,
Exactly.
it's just so scary because it ain't gonna be over for a little while.
No. So
You
I was
know?
like, I get it. When it first happened, it was like, but what? They don't think it'll be done by in my mind. I'm like, they don't think it'll be done by
Right.
October. No, well, okay. So, yeah, that was like kind of my deflation of my balloon. So I went into a little, I'm not going to say depression. I don't want to say that, but I was very sad.
Yeah, don't claim that, girl. You ain't-
Yeah, I wasn't depressed, but I was like, that like kind of
Yeah,
deflated me business. So it just kind of took something away.
right.
But I will say my grind is even harder
That's what I was
during
gonna
this
say.
during this pandemic. The fact that I have all of these products that are about to launch, and it just sort of put things into perspective. It
Yeah,
made me realize the value of life. Like, you always know life is valuable, But it really made me realize, like, okay, I can literally talk to someone today and tomorrow they're gone. Like literally.
Yes.
So it just did something. It My sleep pattern is so off. Um, my
It's
days are running together. I don't even know the days anymore.
yeah, yeah, it's like this pandemic is just put you in a different type of grind mode. It's like God, like, okay, you about to reach this next level, but you
Yep.
about to learn a few things
Yep.
during this
I,
pandemic because we were always doing things. We got Facebook, we got
yep.
Instagram for
Yep.
promo and all those different things, but it was like we really, really had to be creative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so to a point we can't go to events. We can't really see people like we want to see them, so we got to go in extra grind mode.
Zoom, a lot of Zoom meetings and
Yeah,
Zoom happy hours,
I
whatever.
know. So
So,
how has pandemic? How has it all changed you with us being in
um,
COVID? Have you found your sales increasing and people paying attention more?
well, initially, when this first started happening, I was still kind of promoting every day, and then it was like, wait a minute, people are dying. Let me fall back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I remember my phone kept dinging, and I was like, oh, these sales are okay. So maybe I need to still promote because I honestly didn't want to be that one to just promote business. Like people are dying every day, people are getting sick every day. And as a human, you have to have compassion. So the sales, I will say my sales declined, but
Okay.
not significantly.
Okay.
And over the last few weeks, they've increased.
Nice.
Yeah, and even though because you have to like on the lip, the regular gloss side of things is sort of declined, but on my matte lipstick side of things, those sales have increased tremendously because you can still wear my matte lipsticks with the mask and there's no smearing, there's no anything. So when you take it off, your lips are still like when you first put it on, and it's all day. Lashes have increased, hair has increased. So it's just working kind of with what we're in right now because we know masks are going to be until I don't know when, but it's still in the very near future. So it's kind of going with the flow of things.
Well, no, that's right. I'm so proud of you. That's just amazing. So, what are ways that you uplift and inspire women on the outside of your beauty industry? Do you do one-on-ones with them? Do you mentor? What other
Mhm.
things that you do besides this?
Right now, I have three young ladies that I'm mentoring, and I'm helping them. I just started really, like I said, speaking on things. So now, as people are calling me, and I've said that before, I may not be able to fix it. But if you really need just the ear, I don't even have to know you. If you just need to vent, if you just need to say, Schenika, what did you do? What were your steps in preparing? Because I've had those conversations with people I've never met a day in my life. Like, how did you prepare your exit plan? Give me your exit plan?
Right.
And now I'll tweak your plan. So it's that kind of thing. One thing I always want people to understand is because I know it's mental, and because, like I say, I was called ugly every day. Um, Beauty is within, period. And that's something that I've had. Like, I remember a conversation I had, and I think we both cried the whole conversation. And just to hear what other women are experiencing, and then the fact that they feel comfortable reaching out in my messenger, like, hey, can I call you? Because my number is public
Right.
on everywhere. Um, and it's like, okay, sure. And I remember saying, delete our conversations. If we're texting, delete these conversations because I don't want any conversation to be seen by someone's spouse, by someone's significant other, or whatever. So I
Right.
do try to, I don't want to say cancel, but I am here. I am like that ear and that voice, and I have no problem sharing what I did and the steps I took to leave.
That's good. And a lot of women sometimes it's hard to actually get women to come to you, or it's even hard for us. Sometimes we've been through a lot of things. We be skeptical too of
Yeah.
helping other people. So for you to have that courage at that moment to help another woman, I applaud you for it because it's hard. sometimes it's hard because we become so scarred on when we were trying to genuinely help someone, and then it ended up turning into,
Backfires.
yeah, it backfires heavy. So for you
Mm.
to actually, oh, I must have said something.
I'm like,
Seriously, because that is so rough. Because I've done it myself. Sometimes we find ourselves helping women and trying to uplift them and inspire them, and sometimes it's never enough.
no,
And then it's like sometimes it's like we feel like it's like they make us feel like we're obligated to do things when we're trying to do these things out of the kindness of our heart because we want to see you win too.
absolutely. And I'm all for that. That's why I say I had 3 young ladies I'm mentoring, and I had more, but because it's only 24 hours in a day, it's hard to split myself so thin. So I'm going to mentor these 3. And then after that, once they're at the level that they need to be at, then I'll take on 3 more. And I want to get to a point though, actually, where I can do like classes and all of that. And it won't be until the world opens back up, but
Yeah.
where I can do like an intimate setting with young adults. And I won't just limit it to women. I think starting out it'll just be women, but like you said, men experience it too, but for them, it's embarrassing. Um, I have to kind of tweak everything, but that's something I definitely want to do.
Yes, because it's a, I don't know, it's like a special feeling you get when you helping someone else. It's like,
Absolutely.
man, I really did that. I enjoyed it. It
Yeah,
makes you happy inside.
exactly. Exactly. And people are like, but you just want to help everybody, but that's always been me. And anyone who really knows me, even as a teenager, if I could help you, I'm helping you.
Yeah.
That's just always been me, which is why I stayed so long in my situation. Why? Because I wanted to help.
Yep. Yep.
So
It's just
yeah.
that giving portion of it. You said something that triggered in my mind. When did you actually experience when people were calling you ugly? Was that when you were in school?
I got that in school. When I was in school, like my hair was like poofed, and I wore glasses, and I was that awkward child. But even as an adult, like my mates at the time would be like, "Oh, you're ugly. No one wants you. You have 2 kids. You're single. Blah blah blah." And that just growing, that just stays with you. To
Yeah.
hear, oh, it just stays with you. So I would walk with my head down, and so no one could see me, see my face. I would look up to see, okay, let me not bump into anybody. But I literally just stopped doing that maybe 2 years ago. My husband brought it to my attention, and he was like, "No, when you're with me, don't walk with your head down. Have people thinking I'm doing something to you." And I was like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?"
Right.
So I never realized that in my 40s, I was still doing it.
Also, and it'd be crazy how we just have so many habits that we don't
Yep.
recognize until
Yep.
someone is actually honest with us and know how to tell us the things
Yeah.
that we are doing wrong. Because that communication is everything, and how you talk to people. You got to be real gentle and respectful at the same
Absolutely.
time. So it's a blessing that your husband is there to uplift you and inspire you. And I'm sure
He's my backbone, that's for sure. Because he tells me when I'm right and he tells me when I'm wrong. And he's like, okay, babe, well, wait a minute, because you're going to burn yourself out. So let's just sit down and map some stuff out. So I will say, in all honesty, that would have been my loss.
Well, that's a blessing. I'm really happy for you that you reached this point in your life with all the things that you've been through and not having your mother and father here, and you have a good husband that's there to comfort you and guide you and lead you the way, along
Yep.
with your blessings with your kids and grandkids.
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes we gotta sit back and evaluate, like, I am blessed after all.
Exactly. And it's funny. I've been doing that during this whole pandemic. Before the pandemic, we were coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. During this pandemic, it's like, sit down. Where you going to go? Sit down. So when you're sitting down, you have time to think. And when
Yeah.
I really think, that's why I said everything I've ever experienced in life has been a blessing because it prepared me for this right now, for
Yeah.
where I'm walking and where God is going to take me to.
Oh
It
yeah.
was all a lesson because I couldn't be here with weak skin. I couldn't be here. I've endured so much that made me so strong. Where, okay, what's next? Like I
Mm,
say, this business will break you down, but I
yes.
didn't quit.
Yes.
So I
Seriously.
still pull out that strength, like, oh, okay, yeah, cry, get it over with, quit 1,000 times in your head. Now what's next? What you gonna do? You gonna
Uh,
sink or you gonna swim?
you're like, I'm ready. What's up?
Exactly.
That is so good. I really appreciate you for coming on my show. And we have to keep in contact.
We
And I
do.
have to get some of that gloss that you got.
Look, go on the website, tell me what you want.
Yes, I'm gonna look at my business. I put your information on there, and you could tell them yourself right now on how to contact you and purchase merchandise.
Okay, so you can find me on all social media outlets, Facebook, IG, and Twitter, which is at Natalia, Natalia, M as in Mary Beauty. And my website is www.nataliambeauty.com.
Yes, I'm so proud of you. Keep
Thank
going.
you.
Continue to
Thank
inspire
you.
other women, and your blessings will unfold 10 times.
Oh, thank you. It's definitely a journey, but I'm here for
Yes,
it. So thank
yes.
you for having me.
Thank you for sharing your personal life with us.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Have a good night.
You as well.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.